Hello friends, welcome back to your YouTube channel Pharma Specialist. If you want to be search all the video which I have posted, which I have published in this channel, you can just go to YouTube and you can search Resurgent Pharma Q. If you search Resurgent Pharma also you can get all the video which I have published in this channel. Now what we are discussing today, it is series of the videos. For the instrument equipment qualifications include hardware as well as software qualification. So in the instrument equipment qualification, I have already published 3 videos. The video number 1 where I have mentioned instrument equipment qualification, analytical instrument qualification as per USP 1058. The second video which I have published, GAMP 5. So that software qualification requirement as per the GAMP 5 guideline. And third video, I have published what is the qualification delivery is required to do the complete equipment qualification. In this, I have mentioned validation master plan and user requirement specification. Now, the remaining delivery has to be completed in the coming 2 videos. For that, today is 1 video. In this video, topic is after the user requirement specification is required the functional specification. After the functional specification, supplier assessment, then design specification, design qualification. Somebody can say design specification, some organization can design qualification. After that, factory acceptance test. After the factory acceptance test, the instrument has to become at site. Then GSP assessment, risk assessment, GAP assessment, document has to prepare. After that, qualification plan, because what qualification has to be done for this instrument, this equipment. After the change control, then functional risk assessment, critical component assessment. So this till critical component assessment CCA, from functional specification to CCA, this will be part of the today video. That will be topic of the today video. And after the CCA, the last video will come. So you can understand what is the pending deliverable in the last video. So let's begin with this video. So friends, what is the functional specification? So user requirement specification I have already specified. So when you have to submit the user requirement specification to the supplier, supplier will give more clarity in the functional specification. The functional specification normally in line with the user requirement specification, yes, some part has to be added, but mostly it will be same. But in the functional specification, each and every point which you have mentioned in the functional specification, the content which you have mentioned in the functional specification, here the supplier has to be specified what is there in the instrument equipment, because he having the more knowledge of the instrument equipment, because he is the manufacturer of the instrument equipment. So he will specify, sir, you require this specification as per URS, but my instrument having the this much of more, and I specifically my instrument equipment having this all the requirement. So for example, I will give for example for functional specific, because the HPLC is very common instrument in the laboratory. Everybody knows. If you see the manufacturing people also know what is the HPLC, because they come say what is runtime like that. So HPLC is very common instrument. So I will give you if you have given one URS to the vendor saying that I require column oven temperature till 40 degrees centigrade, 20 to 40 degrees centigrade. Now the supplier will say, yes, I have column temperature not 20 to 40, I have 20 to 60 degree temperature. The column oven can be go temperature from 20 to 60 degrees centigrade. So it has to be specified very clearly what is there exactly in this instrument equipment. If you say, please give me the sampler in the HPLC, sampler has to be have capacity of 40 sample has to be taken at a time. Then supplier will say, supplier specification, yes, my sampler is capable to be give 60 sample at a time. You can put the 60 sample at a time, and the sequence has to be run for the 60 HPLC wise you can put in the sampler of the HPLC. So the functional specification is very specific what is there in the instrument. So it is always in line with the user requirement specification. So user requirement specification, what is the part of the user requirement specification? I have already specified in my previous video. So the same content has to be there in the functional specification. After the functional specification, when you finalize the vendor, you finalize the supplier, then you can go purchase order. So first, before the purchase order, you have to prepare commercial technical agreement. Commercial I am not discuss here because it's not part of my video. But technical agreement you can specify what instrument you require, what part you require, what attachment you require, what has to be there in the software, what is your requirement exactly, because now you have a user requirement specification, what is your requirement, your functional specification, what especially there in the instrument equipment. Based on that FRS, URS, you can decide, now I want this instrument having this, all the things. Now your technical contract is ready. So the technical contract, when you prepare, before that you have to do the supplier assessment. The supplier assessment I will discuss in this video later on. First I want to be discussed with the design specification, because user requirement specification, functional specification, design specification, all three are more or less same. So it's very clear, very easy to be explained here what is the design specification. Now you have already given the contract to the vendor, what you require exactly. In the design specification, then vendor will come with the one specification saying that based on your contract, based on your purchase order, based on the requirement, this is the design specification which specifically in your instrument will be there. Like for example, I discuss HPLC, I discuss column oven temperature. So I discuss what is the URS, what is the functional specification. For design specification, I will discuss exactly what will be mentioned in the vendor. Vendor will say, my column oven temperature is capable to read the reading of the temperature at 0.1 degree centigrade. Specifically, you mention in the his design specification. So you will get the reading 20.1 degree centigrade. Otherwise, you can mention my temperature, my oven temperature will come 0.05 degree. So 20.05 degree you can get the reading. What is the least count of the reading you will get it. So very clearly specify the design specification, and you can sign up. Yes, I require this, and you have to sign up. When you sign up, so the user requirement specification, functional specification, design specification, all three are same. Now you sign up the design specification. This is submitted to supplier. Now supplier has to become, and he say, sir, your instrument is ready, your equipment is ready. Now you have to go to the supplier plant, you have to go to the manufacturer plant and check your equipment, instrument is ready, and it is ready. What you want, it is there in this instrument equipment. That is called factory acceptance test. Here the supplier will arrange the instrument. He has to be commissioned the instrument, he has to be installed the instrument. Like for example, if you want stability chamber, walk-in stability chamber, he will install walk-in stability chamber in his premises. Then you can go to the supplier and you can check. Like you require 50,000 liter stability chamber, walk-in stability chamber. So he can measure it. Sir, this is your 55,000 chamber. And you can check, oh yes, this is 55,000 chamber. Then you can say, I require this much of tray inside. So he will explain, sir, this much of tray inside. You can just check it. Yes, this much of tray what I require is there. Then you will say, I require in the software, all the alarm has to be captured in the software. He will go, the software he will explain, sir, this is your audit tray. Sir, this is this. So what is you required as per your specification? Everything has to be explained. This is available in this instrument equipment. When you satisfy, yes, what I want, really this is what you have presented here. Then you can say, I am signing this document now. You can dispatch this machine to my site. Dispatch this machine to organization. So this is called functional acceptance test, where you have to go to the supplier and do the all check the instrument equipment. What you want, it is there, not there. If you found any discrepancy in this, you can say, no, no, this is not there. I have mentioned in the specification, I require this. Then what vendor will do? Again, he has to be start commissioning. Again, he has to be start upgrading this instrument equipment. Then again he will call, sir, you told me this 4 point is not there. These are the 4 discrepancies there. Now I updated. Then you can check. Yes, now you updated. Please dispatch this machine to site. When you dispatch machine to the site, now it is received at the site. Then first document you have to prepare GAMP assessment, GSP assessment. You have to prepare risk assessment document. In this document, you have to mention, like with the instrument, you can mention this instrument belonging to which group of USP 1058. Like it is a group A, group B, group C. This already I explained in my first video. If it is equipment for the manufacturing, critical equipment, non-critical equipment. What is the critical equipment? As per ISP says, the equipment directly involved in the product quality, all are the critical equipment. The equipment which is not involved in the directly product quality, it will not impact the patient safety, so it is non-critical equipment. So in this GAMP assessment document, in this GSP document, in this risk assessment document, you can very clearly specify which category this instrument will come. It is critical, non-critical, as per USP, if the instrument laboratory is group A, group B, group C. Then now GAMP category also mentioned in this document, because you have to do the software qualification also. So as per GAMP, it is category 1, category 3, category 4, category 5. That's everything I have explained in my previous videos. After that, you have to mention, based on the GAMP category, you require electronic record, electronic signature. If it is electronic record, electronic signature, then computer system qualification will come in the picture. So all the thing has to be mentioned in this document, that is called GSP document, risk assessment. Here you can say GAMP assessment document. After that, now you have to be specify what is the category of the instrument. What is then you can make qualification plan. In the qualification plan, you can mention, for this instrument I have to be do this. For example, I can say laboratory instrument. In the laboratory instrument is readily available in the market, and you have lot of experience with all the instrument, lot of experience available. Then for such instrument, no so much of variable is required. In the qualification plan, you can mention this instrument called commercially available instrument, commercially off shelf instrument. So that instrument not require so much of qualification. So based on the risk assessment, I have already mentioned in the previous video what variable has to be done. After the qualification plan, you have to be prepare the change control. In the change control, somebody as per organization's policy, that will be major change control, minor change control. In the major change control, people are doing the risk assessment, they are doing the RPN, risk priority number. Based on the RPN, you can decide what is the risk associated with this instrument equipment, with this change control. In the RPN, severity, detectability, occurrence, that I will not explain here again. So some organization is doing functional risk assessment before the change control, so we can get what is the risk with this instrument equipment, what is the risk with the software. Some people will do after the change control functional risk assessment, but that is based on the validation master plan, what is specified, that is organization has to be put the policies. But I am explain what is the functional risk assessment. So change control is done. After the functional risk assessment is come. So the functional risk assessment, critical component assessment now I have to be discussed for this video. So friends, let us discuss supplier assessment. Introduction of organization. So the supplier organization introduction, what has to be part of that introduction of organization? It should be how big this organization, how many member, what is the department, like service department, then they have sales department, they have marketing team, they have manufacturing team, they have quality system, how the quality system they have. Then you can discuss who is the key member of this organization. You can get their mobile number, email address, contact. So if required, you can contact them. Then what is the organogram of the
organization. So you have to be in introduction of organization. This all will come based on your organization validation master plan, based on your organization SOP. You have to do the supplier assessment. Then the next point will come quality system, how they handle the quality system, like any change in the hardware, any change in the software, how they handle. If any complaint will come, how they handle the service, how they check if any issue is come during the development, how they check if any issues come during transport. So all the quality system, how they handle the thing, it should be check properly in the supplier assessment document. Then training, this should provide the training to user, and the trainer should be trained, should be certified, and he is capable, he is skilled to train the people, to train the user. So the training part also has to be part of the supplier assessment. Subcontract, yeah, you have given contract to manufacture this instrument, to supply this instrument. Now they have given subcontract to other manufacturing sites. So if they are giving the contract to other manufacturing site, then they should have audit, they should have document, and they have audit report for that subcontract site. And they have to be clearly specify for this instrument what they are going for subcontract. They are going for software, they are going for some spare part, they are going for some attachment. So in the supplier assessment should be clearly identified. If the supplier doing the subcontract, what will be the part of the subcontract. Development of instrument, yeah, software, the supplier should have proper facility to development of instrument or software. They should have resources, they should have manpower. So this all has to be discussed in the supplier assessment. Then instrument equipment service, so how they support the service, and they are capable to give the service till shelf life of the machine, shelf life of the instrument equipment. So that has to be also taken care during the supplier assessment. If they are providing the service, then where from where they have to be provide the service, like where they have center for the service, where they have head office, like if you have sitting in the Jammu, and they are providing service from Mumbai, so how they come fast to give proper service to Jammu. So like that, this all has to be discussed in the supplier assessment. Change part, spare part management, where they have stored to be take the change part, spare part. If you have required any maintenance, if required any damage in the instrument, if require the change part, how early they will provide the change part, spare part. So that has to be also discussed in the supplier assessment. AMC, CMC, how they provide annual maintenance contract. So what is and how many service they will give in the AMC? What is the comprehensive maintenance service they provide? So this all has to be discussed in the supplier assessment. So what is the functional risk assessment? What is the risk with instrument? You to identify how to be identify with the risk with the instrument. Then is required to define each step of instrument and equipment. Now I will take here again example as a HPLC. HPLC having the different step. First step is mobile phase has to be flow. Then this is the first step. Second step is that in column, then is go to the column. The second step is you column part and injector. So they have different step. So now I will discuss first step, like this is a flow. So how to be identify the risk on this? Define CQA for each step. For the HPLC flow, what is the critical quality attribute? That is retention time. If your flow is not good, if your flow is not stable, then your RT will change. So for the flow, the CQA is retention time. Define critical process. What is the critical process? Critical process is flow. Like you have to be establish the flow like 1.5 ml. Like you can put 1 ml, you can put 2 ml, you can put 5 ml. That is your process parameter. Then what is the control? So your HPLC having inside control. When you put any flow in the your process parameter, then automatically the control will come. So like, and that you are checking during your calibration, that you are checking during your qualification also, ki the flow is not changed during the complete cycle of the sequence. So you have control here, you have automatic control here. If there is no control here, then you can check what is the risk. For example, for the HPLC, in the column O1, the column is attached with the tube. Now, if any time leakage is observed, so that is the risk, because here severity is very high. If the leakage is observed, the RT can change. It may be chance you found out of specification, that incident will happen. So the severity is very high. What was the occurrence? Occurrence is very rare, because it's until unless there will be not high pressure, you don't find any leakage. Okay, if occurrence is here, the detection is there. Yes, that detection, because when any leakage is there in the column O1, the system automatically stop, give the error. So the detection is very high. So in this case, your RPN is very low and there is no risk, because detection is very high and you stop the sequence. So you found the incident, but yeah, you cannot have any critical risk. So for this, I am giving the example for the HPLC, but this is for all the instrument equipment. You have to be define all the process parameter, each and every parameter you have to decide what is the critical quality attribute, what is the critical process parameter, and this is controlled by the automatic system. You are not controlled. If it not controlled by the system, then you can say what is the risk. If you identify risk, then you have to be plan the mitigation plan, and you have to do some corrective preventive action, how to be how to be handle this risk. If automatic control is not there, then you can put some checklist that should be done by the documentation control. So how to do the critical component assessment? So let's understand how to do the critical component assessment. Identify what are the component attached with the instrument equipment. So first you have to identify what are the component is attached with your instrument equipment. For example, I will give again HPLC. You have first pump, then you have O1, column O1, then detector is there, then here in HPLC sampler is there. So first you have to identify what is the critical component in your instrument equipment. When you identify the critical component, then you can say identify, is it critical or non-critical. If it is critical, what are the mean is critical? It will directly impact to the CQA. What is the CQA? Critical quality attribute. So if it is directly impact to the CQA, it will be critical. If it is not impacting the CQA, it will be non-critical. Then identify spare part requirement. What are the spare part required for this critical component? For example, I will say in the detector, you require the lamp has to be replaced every 6 months. Yeah, energy will low. So that all the spare part list has to be prepared here, so it can be arranged. So what is the spare required for the critical component has to be specified. Then what is the maintenance requirement? So if the critical component is there, then definitely is required to maintenance. If you require the maintenance, need to provide a checklist during the maintenance what has to be checked and what spare part has to be replaced. So this each and everything has to be part of the checklist and will be clearly defined, and you to be defined what will be the frequency of the maintenance activity. Then identify calibration requirement. What calibration has to be done for the different component. So here very clearly specify what requirement for the calibration of the component, that part of your standard operating procedure. Then based on the when the frequency after the frequency when it will come, you have to do the calibration. So this all are the requirement for the critical component assessment, and it is very important when you are doing the instrument equipment qualification.
So friends, I believe you understand what is the deliverable is required for the instrument equipment qualification, what exactly the content of the deliverable is there for the equipment instrument qualification. If you really like this video, please share to your friends. If not subscribe this channel, please subscribe our channel so you can get continuous such videos. And you can ask your friends also, they can also subscribe this channel so they can also get the continue such videos. And the next video will come for the remaining deliverable. Please wait for the next week. It will come for the next week, the last video for this series. Thanks for watching.